A life-saving organ transplant operation changes one man's life forever, but not in the way he was expecting.
I was like totally shocked and blown away.
Like a real-life Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the recipient of a transplanted heart undergoes a radical change of personality.
There are a lot of anecdotal things that defy explanation by conventional means.
Now scientists are forced to ask, could it be possible to transplant the personality and even memories of another human being? The story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where one man transforms into another. It's the stuff of pure science fiction. Or is it? Could it be scientifically possible to assume the personality and even memories of someone else?
I had worked very hard and I had sold my soul for the greenback. I was a fat, out-of-shape businessman, not taking care of himself.
Bill Wohl was obsessed with making money, but when he suffered a massive heart attack in 1999, his life changed forever.
They told me a number of times I was their worst cardiac case ever.
Bill needed a new heart, and on February 22, 2000, a suitable organ became available. The donor was a Hollywood stuntman named Brady Michaels, a fit, focused, passionate man who tragically died doing the job he loved. Brady's death would ultimately save Bill Wohl's life.
I remember waking up that afternoon very sore, but I had a new heart and I was smiling. I was grinning from ear to ear.
But after his operation, Bill says he started acting in strange new ways.
Well, the first thing that really shocked me was that day driving to work. I usually listen to classic hard rock, Led Zeppelin, things like that. Don't ask me why, but that morning I flipped it to like a jazz station.
Bill later learned that his new heart's donor, Brady Michaels, was also a jazz aficionado. According to Bill, the transplant didn't just change his musical tastes, it also changed his vocabulary.
And it's really funny, I can tell you as a cutthroat businessman, the surfer lingo and dude did not fit into my character.
Bill also found he was copying his donor's taste for food.
He was a health nut. He was very big on salads. In the old days, if there weren't French fries, if there wasn't a steak or a lobster tail or something fried, it wasn't going to happen.
Remarkably, Bill's new heart transformed him from an overweight couch potato into a physical fitness freak, just like Brady Michaels. Bill believes that in taking Brady Michaels' heart, he has also taken some of Michaels' personality.
I'm living with a part of him that he's blessed me. And with that blessing has come some ideas and thoughts and characteristics that have kind of melded and become a part of my everyday life.
Bill Wohl's extraordinary story raises some incredible questions. Do our organs really store the essence of our being? Can one person's body assume the personality of someone long since dead? Psychology professor Dr. Gary Schwartz thinks so.
If all tissues could store information and energy, then if a tissue was removed from one person and was surgically placed in another, there would be a transplant not only of the matter, but of the memory as well.
Dr. Schwartz has researched the transfer of memory for 30 years and has documented over 70 similar stories.
I have seen too many cases of uncanny and accurate parallels for me to question whether there's a phenomenon here.
In 1988, Claire Sylvia received the heart and lungs of a young man who died in a motorcycle accident. After the operation, she developed a new taste for beer, green peppers, and chicken nuggets. food she would never have eaten prior to the transplant. Her donor's parents tell her that their son Tim loved nothing more than beer and green peppers. And chillingly, on the night Tim died, he was riding his motorcycle with a box of chicken nuggets in his pocket.
There are examples from Bill's case which indicate the specificity above and beyond simple changes in diet or exercise, which a lot of people might do because they had a heart transplant.
Can these personality changes be explained as a reaction to a brush with death? Or even as side effects of the powerful anti-rejection drugs used after transplant surgery?
The first thing one wants to entertain are conventional explanations like side effects of the drugs, stress of the surgery, or just changes in philosophy of life.
They're given drugs and medication to tame down their immune system, and most of the side effects and toxicity come from these immunosuppressant drugs that reduce the response of the body to the new organ.
A side effect of a steroid might change people's anxiety level, or it might change maybe a certain food preference, but it's going to be random in relationship to the preferences and personality of the donor.
I don't think the anti-rejection drugs, as toxic as they may be, could explain the specific information that gets transferred. That would have to be pure luck or some actual mechanism of transference from the donor to the recipient.
It appears to be too much of a coincidence to be the drugs. But Dr. Stuart Hameroff has a radical theory that defies belief. The human heart can store our memories. Bill Wall has undergone a seemingly supernatural transformation. A heart transplant, he believes, changed his personality, his tastes, even his memories, into those of his donor, all-action Hollywood stuntman Brady Michaels. Could something that appears straight from a sci-fi movie actually be real? Dr. Hameroff believes he has the answer to this bizarre mystery.
It's not only the brain that can store memory. We have muscle memory. We learn to play tennis, and there's information stored in the nerves that control the muscles. And the heart has a lot of neurons. Outside the brain, it's one of the largest collections of neurons in the body.
Neurons are specialized cells that transmit information via electrical impulses and chemical signals throughout the body's nervous system. The information they carry allows us to move, think, learn, and feel. Most neuroscientists believe that long-term memories are stored exclusively by neurons in the brain. Dr. Hameroff has a more radical theory. He believes memories can also be stored by neurons in other parts of the body, within a cellular structure called a microtubule.
Microtubules seem to be the most likely site for memory to be housed, because we know that in Alzheimer's disease, where you lose memory, it's the microtubules in the brain neurons that fall apart. So there's a number of avenues of evidence that lead to the fact that the microtubules are housing and storing memory. But it would be focused and more prevalent in parts of the body that have the most neurons, the most microtubules, namely the brain and the big nervous ganglia like the heart.
If Dr. Hameroff is right, memories can be stored by microtubules in the brain, the heart, and the spinal cord, or anywhere else there are neurons. This could explain why when Bill Wall got a heart transplant, he got a memory transplant too.
Dr. Hameroff came to his theory of memory initially by studying neurons and anesthesia, and then extending that to other organs, particularly the heart. So he's looking at a very special case of how a particular component of a cell can have memory. And I wouldn't disagree with that.
Dr. Schwartz's theory goes further. He believes memory can be stored in all cells throughout the body, not just the neurons, thanks to a process called feedback.
Feedback is the essence of learning and memory. Now, that same feedback process operates at any level. It's what operates within the neurons that allow the neurons to learn between them. But that same feedback that allows the neuron cells to learn is feedback that can operate within the interconnected network of cells in the heart or the lungs or any other organ.
According to Schwartz, groups of cells throughout the body are constantly sending information back and forth, shaping memories in a learning process.
That's another thing about these feedback loops, is a recurrent process. Each time you repeat the process over and over again, it makes the memory stronger.
Could cells other than neurons actually store memories? Schwartz not only believes they do, he also thinks he can prove it.
We typically think of muscle memory as being mostly the brain, but it turns out the muscles have the potential to learn as well, because all muscles have feedback, ergo feedback memory and muscle memory in the muscles themselves.
Schwartz can show this principle in action.
Let's go do it.
An athlete is able to train his muscles to shoot basketball hoops using feedback, so that he continues to hit the basket even when blindfolded. Schwartz believes it's not just organs like the heart that can store memories. He thinks it's possible that every single cell in the body can store information.
Whoa.
Since feedback loops are operating at every level in the body, at every level, there's going to be theoretically memory and to various degrees learning at every level in the body.
Although unproven, this theory could help explain the cases of transplant recipients who report receiving the donor's memories, tastes, and behaviors, along with their new organs.
Certainly just getting a transplant and a second chance at life changed me in a major way, but I also totally believe that certain characteristics of my donor have become a basic part of my life, and I feel that this is the cellular memory that's changed my life.
Most neuroscientists remain skeptical that cellular memory exists at all. But Bill Wall believes memories, just like organs, can be transplanted. Whatever the truth, Bill's experience has most definitely been weird or what? Lightning.